America is not angry because it is broken. America is angry because anger has become emotionally profitable, neurologically addictive, socially rewarded, and psychologically comforting. And the tragedy is that most people don't even realize when anger stopped being a reaction and became an identity, because anger no longer arrives only when something goes wrong. It now arrives pre-installed in the mind, ready to activate at the smallest trigger. And the hidden psychology behind this epidemic begins with a simple truth. The human brain hates uncertainty more than pain, and anger gives certainty, anger gives clarity, anger gives a villain. And in a world where complexity, ambiguity, and fear dominate everyday life, anger offers a shortcut to feeling powerful again. Because when people feel small, ignored, insecure, economically threatened, culturally displaced, or emotionally invisible, anger steps in like a drug that says you matter. And the brain releases dopamine not when we are calm, but when we feel justified, validated, and morally superior. Which is why outrage feels energizing, why rage feels clean, why blame feels relieving. Because it allows the mind to escape self-reflection and project discomfort outward. And American culture has unknowingly trained millions of brains to prefer anger over understanding, reaction over reflection, noise over nuance. Because anger is fast and thinking is slow. Anger feels like action while thinking feels like weakness. And the modern mind is exhausted, overloaded with information, constantly stimulated, permanently alert, living in a state of low-grade threat. And when the nervous system is trapped in survival mode, the brain stops asking, is this true, and starts asking, who is the enemy? And this is where the epidemic truly begins. Because anger thrives in environments of fear. And fear has become the default emotional background of American life. Fear of losing status, fear of losing identity, fear of being left behind, fear of being replaced, fear of not being heard, fear of not being enough. And when fear has no clear outlet, it mutates into anger, because anger feels stronger than fear. Anger feels active, while fear feels helpless. And psychologically, the brain prefers emotions that give the illusion of control, even if that control is fake. And anger is the illusion of control. It gives the mind a narrative where pain has a cause and the cause has a face. And once the brain attaches anger to identity, letting go of anger feels like losing oneself. Because now anger is not just what you feel, it is who you are, what you believe, how you see the world. And this is why discussions no longer feel like conversations but like battles. Because when beliefs become emotional shelters, questioning them feels like an attack, and the brain responds to perceived attacks with fight or flight. And anger is the fight response. And this response is constantly triggered by algorithms designed not to inform but to inflame. Because outrage keeps attention longer than calm reasoning. And the American mind has been conditioned through repetition to associate anger with engagement, validation, and belonging. Because anger creates tribes, and tribes create safety, and the brain is ancient. It evolved to survive in groups, not to process global complexity. So when the world becomes too big to understand, the mind shrinks it into us versus them, and anger becomes the emotional glue that binds identity groups together. And every like, share, retweet, and comment reinforces the behavior. Because the brain interprets social approval as survival success. And the more anger is rewarded, the more it is repeated. Until eventually calm feels boring, empathy feels suspicious, and nuance feels like betrayal. And this is how anger becomes normalized, how rage becomes routine, how hostility becomes culture, and underneath it all is emotional exhaustion. Because anger is not strength, it is a signal of unprocessed pain, unresolved trauma, unmet needs, and suppressed fear. And many Americans are carrying invisible wounds from economic pressure, social isolation, broken trust in institutions, fragmented families, identity confusion, and a constant sense that life is slipping beyond their control. And instead of being taught emotional literacy, they are taught emotional performance, where loud feelings matter more than honest ones. And anger becomes a socially acceptable way to express pain without appearing weak, because sadness is mocked, fear is dismissed, and vulnerability is punished, but anger is respected. Anger is feared, anger is listened to. And so the psyche learns a dangerous lesson. If you want to be seen, be angry. If you want to matter, be loud. If you want power, be outraged. And this rewires emotional pathways, because neurons that fire together wire together. And over time, the brain becomes fluent in anger and illiterate in calm, and emotional regulation skills atrophy. Patience shrinks. Frustration tolerance collapses, and even minor inconveniences trigger disproportionate rage because the nervous system is already overloaded, already primed for conflict, already scanning for threat. And this constant state of arousal damages mental health, disrupts sleep, weakens immune systems, increases anxiety, fuels depression, and creates a feedback loop where anger increases stress and stress increases anger. And the mind becomes trapped in a cycle it mistakes for awareness, because anger feels like clarity, but it is actually narrowing reception, shrinking empathy, flattening complexity, and simplifying reality into emotionally satisfying lies. And the most dangerous part of this epidemic is that anger convinces people they are awake, while it slowly puts critical thinking to sleep. Because when emotions run hot, logic runs cold, and the brain's prefrontal cortex, responsible for reasoning, impulse control, and perspective taking, goes offline, while the amygdala, the brain's threat detector, takes control. And in this state, people do not seek truth. They seek confirmation. They do not want answers. They want reinforcement. And this is why anger spreads faster than facts, why misinformation thrives in emotional environments, why people defend false beliefs with real rage. Because the belief is no longer intellectual. It is emotional, it is personal, it is protective, and challenging it feels like existential danger. And America's anger epidemic is not about politics, race, class, or ideology alone. It is about a collective nervous system pushed beyond its capacity to cope, a society that rewards emotional extremes and punishes balance, a culture that confuses expression with healing and reaction with strength. And until this is understood, anger will continue to masquerade as truth, righteousness, and courage, while quietly eroding empathy, connection, and mental health. Because anger does not resolve pain, it preserves it. It does not heal wounds, it guards them. It does not bring people together, it organizes them against each other. And the hidden psychology reveals a sobering reality. Many people are not angry because they hate others. They are angry because they do not know how to sit with their own fear, grief, confusion, and powerlessness. And anger becomes the armor that protects a fragile inner world, but armor eventually becomes a prison. And the cost of living in constant outrage is not Jews. Social division. It is emotional burnout, cognitive rigidity, and a loss of inner peace. Because a mind addicted to anger cannot rest, cannot trust, cannot listen, and cannot heal. And the epidemic continues not because people are evil, but because anger feels like relief in a world that never taught them another way to cope. And until emotional awareness replaces emotional reaction, until regulation replaces reactivity, until understanding replaces outrage, the anger will continue to feel sweet even as it poisons the very mind it promises to empower.